But if you really penetrate to somebody's heart, and I'm trying to empty hell, that's my mission. So after every concert, I open the doors of the church, and you'll see it tonight. Hundreds of people are getting saved. And I believe if we go back to that, everything else will take care of itself.
That was the voice of award-winning recording artist, Pastor Mike Jr., our guest on this week's edition of Conversations from Studio 5. The senior pastor has new music and is on tour. I sat down with him in Richmond, Virginia while he was on that tour to have a conversation about his life, his music, his career, and how he feels about being called the new king of urban inspiration. So we've known you for the last few years, but you've been doing this a whole lot longer. As far as recording.
No, that's the crazy part. People believe, everybody keeps saying, where does he come from? So in 2009, I started Rock City Church in Birmingham, Alabama. My pastor spoke a word to me that I believe was God. He said, love God, love your family, love your city, and in 10 years, the world will come looking for you. So at 25, it's 10 of us. At 26, our church grows to about 1,500 people. At 27, it's 7,000 or 8,000 people in the arena, and God just kept growing it. In 2019, I'm in church, and I just randomly say, and it's gonna be big. It goes viral, and now you know about me.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. I was at least connected to you initially and started following you because of James Fortune.
Yes, sir.
He was your minister of music. Is he still?
Yes, sir. He's still at the church.
Okay, that's because I had interviewed him, and he told me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start following this church.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. So you grow up following your dad. You wanted to sing.
Yeah, man, I would open for him. He would, I say open, Lord. I would do it, the sermonic selection.
Yes.
I would come up and sing. I was my dad's praise and worship leader. I even recorded an album in his basement. I printed off 20 copies. He let me stand in front of the church. I went platinum. I sold all 20 copies, you know, and so I've always wanted to do music. Funny thing is, when you hear Big, when you hear I Got It, when you hear some of the songs we're doing now, like Winning, these are songs that been in my phone for years, but when God tells you to wait, you have to wait. And I believe there are so many people that are giving the devil credit for killing the dream that patience actually killed. And if you get patience, God will do things in due season.
Wow. How was patience easy for you?
No.
Okay.
No. No, I was ready to go, man. I never forget, we were in church and I'm preaching and I was like, there's a blessing out there with my name on it. And I went to the studio, recorded it. Then I was like, hey, y'all, I'm gonna do this song in the church. It went plastic. You know, so I was like, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna do it. And lo and behold, I thought Big, I Got It. We were gonna drop this for church anniversary. That was it. You know, and a radio promoter came to our church, fell in love with one of my top volunteers. They come to my house for marital counseling. He goes, I can preach a sermon called The Wrong Turn. He says, where's the restroom? I say, go down the hall, make a left. He goes down the hall, makes a right. Says, why you got a studio in your house? I said, well, my therapist asked me, how do I deal with some of my anxiety? So I just record songs. He said, play some. I played I Got It. I said, what else you got? I played Big. And halfway through Big, he stopped and said, if you trust me, your life will never be the same. That's when he told me what he does. And show you how apropos this is, how favor-filled this is. Today, I just found out that my new single, Windows, just broke the Billboard record, most consecutive #1s out the gate. So it's just, all this is just happening. It's head swimming like, God, what are you doing? Yeah.
I love it. And in terms of God doing things that just he has to take credit for, you really came to light in the world during the pandemic.
Yeah.
That's when
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
When we can't get together, we can't go to a concert, we can't.
And I think one of those things, I think it was God's sovereignty. I was upset with God, you know, because you got to think about it. I wait like he tells me to wait. 2009, wait 2 years. I wait till 2019, drop the song. 2020, it goes dark. Everybody's quarantined. The day Big went #1, I couldn't even celebrate with my family and friends. So you have to understand, I said, God, why are you doing this to me? And I never forget, I heard the Lord in my spirit say, I'm giving you everything you prayed for without the people to praise you for it, to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons.
Wow.
And so for me, it wasn't until 2022 maybe that I heard another person sing Big. We were at a concert in Jacksonville, Florida, and I said, I believe, and everybody said, it's my seat. And I literally said in the microphone, oh my God, this is crazy. So the pandemic, I tell everybody, the pandemic had its trials, but there were some bright moments. I got a chance to spend time with my kids. You're moving so fast, you can re-identify who you are. And for me, man, just sitting at home, finding ways to communicate with the world. And by the time we came out the pandemic, everybody was asking, now, who is that again? So it was fun.
Nice. I remember seeing you on the Stellar Awards and
Yes,
just watching
sir.
your win after win. And
Yes,
it was quite beautiful
Yes,
to
sir.
see. Now, you mentioned Windows, charting. Tell me the history behind that song. How long did you have it before we finally get to hear it?
Yeah, so Windows is one of those songs that wasn't even supposed to be a song. Like, I'm done with the album, and Javon Hill, who's the head of the MVP band, he said, I'm gonna sing you something. It's a little different, but I know you're probably the only person who can do it. He said, it feels like Bruno Mars. And when I heard it, I instantly started singing. I called my friend Jaco from the Bahamas. I said, let's write this, man. And so we began to write it. And I think that's the best part. I tell everybody, I don't think I've sat down and necessarily penned a song. I just penned it, like intentionally. Big was random in church. I got it. We went into it randomly at Bible study. Amazing. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
That's my favorite of all.
I didn't even know I was in concert. We're in Jacksonville, Florida, and I get there. The pastor says, tonight in concert. This is fresh off the pandemic. I look at the guy, I say, I only got 2 songs. He said, well, you got 50 minutes. And literally, once we got done singing Big and I got it, the keyboard player hit a chord. And I said, I remember when. And by the time we woke up that next morning, it was at 500,000 views. The Stellar Awards call and say, perform it. I have to run to the studio, make it a song. Impossible was a song we sung in Bible study. So for me, I'm either the luckiest person in the world or God. My strategy is, God, you tell me what to sing, I'm going to sing it. And so far, he's been blessing it.
Now, your path to be obedient to God comes at a unique point from what I understand.
Okay.
I'm an Alpha.
Okay.
You're a Kappa. Correct?
That's right. That's right.
So, you're in college, and you're not necessarily being the preacher's kid.
No,
Share.
I'm out there. Hey, I'm outside. No, I pledge Cap Alpha Psi, and I'm in the club, Oak Tree Lounge. I'm in the club, and I'm on the mic. Hey, throw it up. Throw it up. I mean, everybody rocking, and I clearly heard the Lord say, right crowd, wrong place. So much so that in the microphone, I said, what? Then I heard the Lord say again in my spirit, right crowd, wrong place. I walk out the club. This is a Thursday night. Walk out the club, go to my apartment, sit on the edge of the bed and just cry because I knew what it was. That next morning, I withdrew from school. When I hear God, there is no delay. It's go. That Thursday night, I hear the Lord. That Friday morning, I drop out of college. I go home. My dad proceeds to punch me in the chest and say, I'm taking you back to school Monday. He wakes me up that Saturday and says, ride with me so we can talk. We get to his church leadership meeting, and half of his leadership splits the church. That Sunday, he has nobody to sing. I lead worship, and the rest is history. So for me, my life has always been where God orders steps. And literally today, when I got ready to leave home, my dad lives across the street from me. He said, I'm in Alabama. He said, where you headed, bud? I said, I'm headed to Virginia. Yeah. He said, I went to the restaurant last night, and they said, you PMJ dad, ain't it? Like, yeah. He said, man, let me eat for free. I said, yeah. He said, I'm so glad you left college. I said, let me get my lick back there. Yeah.
Speaking of, you grew up in Birmingham.
Birmingham,
When we think
Alabama.
of Birmingham, we think of civil rights.
Absolutely.
And you've got strong ties.
That's absolutely. I stand on the shoulders of giants. Dr. Martin Luther King wouldn't move in Birmingham without my grandfather, Bishop Calvin Woods, who's still alive, my great uncle, Dr. Abraham Woods, who was the president of the SCLC chapter in the state of Alabama. So I grew up listening to stories about Shuttlesworth and Abernathy. And my granddad would make me drive him and Carnal to movement meetings. So here it is. I'm in my early 20s and everybody else going out. I'm in a full 3-piece suit driving them to Montgomery so we can reenact marches and different things like that. But for me, it gave me a sense of pride on what's ours. And so that's why I'm so pro Stellar Wars. That's ours. I think so many times as African Americans in our pursuit for success, we deem success things that the world say versus appreciating the things that we have. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I love gospel music. I love our HBCUs. You know, in my city, I do a lot with Miles College. I love helping organizations that find their way that bless people. So that's just who we are, man. Yep.
Nice. Now, your grandfather was there when Martin Luther King was killed?
No,
No?
so Dr. Martin Luther King leaves Birmingham. Every
Mm-hmm.
time he comes to Birmingham, he wouldn't move without my granddad. So my grandfather wasn't with him in Memphis, but every other time he moved, he was with him. So even when I talked to my grandfather about that, you can almost see his eyes water just thinking about the different things they went through. My grandfather was the first person to sit at a Woolworth counter in Birmingham, Alabama. You know, so to see him, he always jokes. He was like, "We risked our lives. Y'all can't take tweets." You know what I'm saying? He literally
Yeah.
sat at a corner and they beat him half to sleep, would follow him home and different things like that. So it's a I have a unique sense of pride when it comes to us because I was raised in a family that would never let us forget it. You know, yeah.
I love that. One of the things I love about your story that's not true for many of us, an active dad,
Mhm.
an active grandfather,
Uh-huh.
you're an active father.
Mhm.
And we sit in a world, especially
Yeah.
in black families, where father is also absent.
Absolutely.
What does fatherhood mean to you? We're approaching Father's Day. What do
Yeah.
you?
Fathers are important. Fathers, we come from this beautiful word pater, where we get our American word paternity, paternity. If you want to know who this child belongs to, you check the paternity. So you get pater, where we get our American word paternity, where we get another spin-off word pattern. When they want to check your DNA, they try to see if the patterns match. And so for me, grandfather's a bishop, my father's a pastor. The pattern was already set. It was in my DNA. And so when I look at my boys, Xander, Michael, Mason, and Miles, I look at my daughter, McKinley, I try to find ways to let my life set a pattern versus my words set a pattern. You know, I hope one of them preach one day. I can see it on two of them. But even if they don't, I'm understanding that your life preaches way more than your message does. You know, so I believe fathers are important. I went through a season of my life where I had to discover, was I doing this for God or doing this for my dad? You know, and I was growing my church. I just wanted him to be so proud, you know. But I think when you father right, the two get mixed. You know, like, cause my first, I love God sometimes based off of how my natural father loved me. I didn't understand my relationship with God right till I had kids. On how patient he is with me, how kind he is with me. My son did something dumb the other day, and I was finna lose it, man. And the Holy Spirit was like, "Well, you know, you just did something dumb." So I was like, "I'm gonna give him grace, God. You give me grace, I'm gonna give him grace." So
Nice.
I think fatherhood is so important.
You've had at least one son say he wants to do what you do, right?
Yeah, I done had my son Xander. We're at the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama, and 60,000 people there. It's crazy, and it's in Birmingham. I'm the closing performer. They got fireworks going off. It's crazy. I ain't never seen that like it. And so we get done, and he just looking at me, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" He was like, "Yeah, I want to do this." And for me, I'm like, bro, because you know how it is, man. I can be everything to them sometime, but they hero. It's hard to. They go home with Clark Kent. So when the world sees Superman, they see Clark Kent. You know, so for me to try to live a life to where Clark Kent doesn't kill Superman, and the child can say, "Dad, I seen you mad, but I also seen you in purpose." I want that, and so I'm excited about that.
Nice. If you could go back in time and speak to young Mike Jr., a little boy, what would you tell him?
I would tell young Mike, if I can go back and tell young Mike anything, I would tell him I'm proud of him. You know, I had somebody ask me yesterday, would you change anything? I said, no, I thank God that our family didn't have nothing for real. I thank God my dad, we didn't have a car and we had to drive the church van and people would laugh at us and all the other pastors would pull up in Cadillacs. We get out of the church van, but I would notice they would get out their Cadillac, walk in the building, then they family. My dad would get out the church van, let the step stoop down, hold my mama hand, pick all of us up. It was those moments that teach me now when we go from city to city, I don't just sing and run out the door. It's like, I want to go hug some people. Let me go talk to, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So for me, I wouldn't tip him off on anything. I would let him make his mistakes, let him grow, and just tell him, hey, I'm proud of you. Don't spend half of your life seeking affirmation from heroes who you're going to learn to discover are villains.
Mm.
Well,
What's the tour been like? This tour.
to be continued. No, the tour has been an experience. You know, for me, it's been, it's reignited my passion for pastoring in a sense of, I didn't realize how big my church had gotten. You know, so during the pandemic, we started doing something every morning called Devo Energy. 7:21 a.m. Central Standard Time. Whatever I preach on Sunday, we make a 5-day devotion, and my leaders and different members of our church do an online devotion every morning. So 3, 4, 5,000 people every day watch it. So now we're touring, and we have not been to a city yet where there's 500 or 600 people who are members of our church from another state. And so what we do is, I believe in discipleship. So when you join, we do an online new members class. We send free t-shirts to our online members. We're constantly talking with them. So to get to these cities, and if you're here tonight, you'll see it. You'll see all these people, like, that's my pastor right there. And I'm like, whoa, so what city are you in? Or if I say, we created a ministry mantra, we are, the whole church says, Rock City. You know, so now to be in different states and see that, and I think that's what, I had somebody tell me yesterday, they said, I think everybody missing what you actually doing. I was like, what you talking about? He said, you ain't out here selling records or trying to get streams. You're saving a lot. He said, you growing your church. I said, that's what I'm out here, because music fades. You know, it'll be a new Pastor Mike Jr. in 2 years, and they'll say, oh, that's the new hot guy in gospel. But if you really penetrate to somebody's heart, and I'm trying to empty hell, that's my mission. So after every concert, I open the doors of the church, and you'll see it tonight. Hundreds of people are getting saved. And I believe if we go back to that, everything else will take care of itself.
Love it. I love it. What's next?
That's a good question. What's next for me? Strong. That's my word this year. Strong. You know, strong. I don't want to be a mile long and an inch deep. You know what I'm saying? I think as of today, I think we're close to 5,600 new souls this year at the church. Nice. You know, so for me, that number sounds good to say, but how many have been through Pathway to Purpose? How many have been contacted? How many people are growing? How many people are praying, fasting, tithing? So for me, it's strong. And when I say that, we just purchased a new campus in Birmingham, Alabama. So it's like over 100,000 square feet. It was a college. We bought the dorms as well. Wow. You know, so we're finna renovate those dorms. So all of my online members, when they want to come to church, they got a place to stay for free that weekend. So I'm trying to reimagine, if Paul didn't have to write a letter, what would he have done? You know what I'm saying? And so I think Paul, number one, if he didn't have to write a letter, he would have got on Instagram Live. But if you take it to another level, he would have made a way for all of them to come to him. And so what I'm trying to do now is reimagine ministry, make sure I open doors for people connected to me. We have a kindergarten through 8th grade that our goal is for that to be high school in the next 3 years. So for me, music is my evangelistic tool to introduce people to Jesus. So like I tell everybody, I'm not trying to have a music career. Music to me is my ticket. You may be Baptist, non-denominational, Kojic, apostolic. When you hear a song you like, that don't matter no more. Right. And so what I'm realizing now is all these denominations meet to hear me sing big, and after we get through ministering, it don't matter no more. So for me, that's how I'm working my way to meet people so I can tell them about a man named Jesus.
Last question for you. So we're listening to Pastor Mike. Who are you listening to?
Music-wise or
yes,
messages?
music-wise.
I'm selfish. I love my squad. You got Da Vinci, you got Adia, you got James Fortune, who's a part of our ministry. But if I was to be honest, man, I'm old, man. Like as young as people say, I love John P. Key. You know, when I listen to John P. Key, it takes me back to putting books on the floor. And when I'm learning how to play Jesus Real, we would break the end off the hangers and break them in half. And then we would just play the drums. Fred Hammond, Pages of Life. I get a chance every night to see Dietrich Haddon do what he do. So I throw a hoodie on and go stand in the back and look, see how he do his thing. So for me, I'm just a fan of everybody. I think if we're not careful, competition is gonna kill the call. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what I'm trying to do right now is when they call me with this tour, they're like, we want you to go on tour, we're going to do it. First thing I do is pick up the phone. You want to come with me? Hey, you want to come with me? You want to come with me? How do we make this happen? Well, you're going to have to take less money. Cool. Can you come? Because to me, there's a movement, there's a window happening right now where people, especially young people, are searching for answers. You know what I'm saying? I got teenagers. And so what's happening now, all their friends are like, man, your dad all right. You know what I'm saying? Or like one person asked me, I like him, but he don't dress like a preacher. And I said, I'm so sorry. I said, you know Jesus. I said, but when they see me, they be like, I like that. So the necklace may get their attention, but the message gonna hold them. So we're just trying to, what's next for me is just being what God called us to be in. And unapologetically, it was Howard Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs, but rather ask what make you come alive, and do that. For what the world needs are people who have come alive. As long as I continue to come alive, that's my mission.
Okay, I said that was lesson one, quick one. So in all of this, if you had to finish the statement, God blew my mind when?
God, my side. You be asking questions, boy. God blew my mind when. Here, you ready? If I had to answer the question you just asked, God blew my mind when, I would finish that statement by saying, God blew my mind when some kind of way he allowed the college dropout, the one my mom said they constantly had to pray for, the one my dad sat down and said, Mike, I'm just worried about you. The one my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife, said, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. He blew my mind when all of them who knew my dirt can now look at me and say, man of God. So for me, that's not trophies come and go. Accolades come and go. Awards come and go. Records are going to be broken. But when the people who know you, when my dad had to get me out that high school, they was finna expel me. When I had a child out of wedlock, and I had to stand before the church, and everybody told me they was disappointed in me. When they can look at that boy, you know what I'm saying, that boy at 20, and now look at the man at 40 and be like, I'm proud of you. That's when, for me, nothing else mattered. My daddy proud of me, my mama proud of me, my wife be like, my man. My boys think I'm the coolest. My daughter love me, and my church got my back. The rest of everything else is gravy.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Pastor Mike Jr.'s new EP, I Got Away, is available wherever you stream, download, or purchase your music. I want to thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Conversations from Studio 5 and making us your weekly destination for uplifting interviews with a strong focus on faith. For more information on the show, be sure to check out our Facebook page. You can also find us on Instagram simply by searching Studio 5. Hope to see you right here next week on the podcast.